Good evening, Facebook. Good evening, YouTube. And hello, listener. Welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We are the completely unrehearsed podcast that is bringing you Transformers news from around the world and across Australia. Unrehearsed and also not very ready to go live tonight. But let's see how we
Not
go.
in the slightest.
Yeah, not in the slightest. This is episode 257, which means we've done this successfully 256 times before without actually being very prepared. Oh, that's nice, actually. That's a base 2 number. It's very nice. To the power of 8 is 256. There's a 257. We are recording live. It is Friday, June 3rd, 2022. In this week's jam-packed episode, we will be discussing the new masterpiece jet Skyfire reveal, hot off the presses, revealed in Japan today, and quickly echoing around the internet. The Legacy Wreck and Rule collection is complete. We talked about the first 4 members of that last time. We've got the 5th one official, and the Legacy Motormaster has made his way out onto store shelves in Australia, not without a bit of slight bit of controversy in terms of getting your hands on him, but let's see how we go. All of that and more is coming up after this. G'day and welcome to the show. I'm Jason. Joining me tonight, we have Max coming to us from Adelaide. How are you doing over there, Max?
I'm freezing cold in the wonderful south of our country. How are you, Jason?
I'm pretty sure we're all freezing cold. Sydney's going through a cold snap, and Brad is further south than us. Well, he might be further south. He's in an undisclosed location in country Australia. Brad, how are you doing there?
It is also cold here.
Ooh, there's a hint as to Brad's location. I got Brad's location wrong during the week. I sent him a photo going, I'm high, and he's like, that's not where I live.
You're so close.
I know. 10 minutes down the road.
I've spent some time in the region Brad lives in, and it's far, far colder than here, so I can only assume he's wearing a t-shirt with a guns out just because they're naturally immune to it down there.
Oh, yeah.
No, the wood fire is keeping the house nice and warm, but outside it is mighty cold. I've been wearing the thermals, the beanie, and the balaclava all week, so hopping around the zeros.
The bogan, the beanie, and the balaclava. Is that it's the 3 Bs? I mean, it's almost like it's almost like you're making unofficial Transformers with a 3B company. That was a terrible way to start the show. I'm sorry.
A little bit.
Actually, to be honest, I'm not that sorry. But yeah, let's be honest. I've said worse on the podcast. Okay.
Am I whittling?
And you will say worse again.
I will say worse again. What was that, Brad? Sorry.
Am I whittling the Transformers out of cork, or what? How does a bogan assemble a Transformer? Is it made out of beer cans?
It's actually it's amazing you mentioned whittling something out of cork, because a friend of mine posted that he made a dress out of cork for a publicity campaign for I think some alcohol. I digress. I saw it posted on Facebook recently. It was quite an astonishing look. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Like, are you excited that we've got a new masterpiece figure to talk about tonight? Brad's not.
Someone is. Someone is. I don't collect masterpiece anymore, unfortunately. But he looks good. So Jason, you're gonna have to carry a team for this one.
All right, fine. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Masterpiece Jetfire. We will be talking about him later in the show. I don't know. We talked about how freezing cold everyone is. I think we should just get to news. What do you think?
Let's talk some thoughts.
Brad's just like, move on. Let's talk about something. All right.
Man on the schedule.
We're going to move swiftly on and get to the news. Straight into news.
Hasbro news.
That will take us into some news.
What news comes from by yonder?
little bit of news. Yeah, I think Brad's got somewhere to be. little bit of news. Local releases. To start us off on news, we like to talk about things that are new and things that have come out. And so the big news this week is that you can find Legacy Motormaster at Big W stores. Sort of. It's
select stores.
Yeah, some stores got him. And from what we heard today, you're not going to find him again. There was apparently a national email. An email went around telling them to remove it from store shelves nationally after it was placed on shelves and put on sale at its full price. Same thing happened last year with Kingdom Rodimus Prime, the last year's Commander class figure. He went up on sale for about a week and a half before the Big W toy sale, which is what's happened again with Motormaster. The recommended retail price, we know because that's the price you pay for him right now, is $160. So he's the most expensive Commander class figure that we've ever had. Prices of everything have gone up this year. So Commander class jumping from $150 to $160. It stings, but what are you going to do? What you will do is wait to see his price at the Big W sale, which we're reliably informed will be $130. Again, a $10 hike over last year's Commander price at the Big W sale, but also $130 is a $30 discount off his RRP. So if you are looking for Motormaster, you would be foolish not to pick him up at the sale. And Big W appears to be making sure that people will pick him up only at the sale instead of putting him up for sale early. Other things that we've seen released in the past week or so, there's been the new wave of Beast Wars reissues, Scorponok, Cybershark, and Wolfang. They've been spotted at Big W, which is surprising everyone because the previous wave of Beast Wars reissues have been shelf forming is too kind a term.
And on clearance, heavy clearance as well.
Yeah. So they were shelf warming, and then they're on heavy clearance. Was that a $14 Optimus Primal?
No, it was 19. Has it dropped even more?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's 19. So this thing started at $70. It went down to $35 a couple of months ago. Now it's $19. They couldn't really get rid of these things, but it's a bit of a surprise that they actually brought in the next wave. So now that's impressive. The next wave does seem to be far more reasonably priced. There is a $70 figure in there, but it's Scorponok, which kind of justifies it. Cybershark and Wolfang are coming in at a far more reasonable $39, as far as I can tell.
Because no one wants them.
Well, I don't know. I've seen a few people after Cybershark and Wolfang. Finally, with just one note, which I haven't seen widely reported around, is that we did have a sighting this morning in some groups of the Studio Series Bumblebee Arcee, who's the current wave of Studio Series Deluxe, and presumably her wave mate Ironhide would have been there as well at Kmart in New South Wales. So there's some new figures out there. I know a lot of people have been looking for that Arcee. A lot of people are very fond of her, those who've played with her. And finally, on local release along with a global release, Lego Optimus Prime was released on June 1st. Who's picked him up?
Haven't seen it.
Is it just me?
Yeah.
Well, there's the acquisitions for this week done already. So I did pick myself up
a continual story of just Jason
it could
being the one who has money for these things.
I did pick up a Lego Optimus Prime. There is a very enthusiastic Facebook user saying Lego Optimus Prime, I'm building mine right now. Thank you, nameless person. So I picked him up. We've been getting conflicting stories about sales. Anecdotally, sales have been like going gangbusters. No one that I know who went to a store didn't report a complete sellout. I picked mine up from the Lego store at Bondi Junction about lunchtime on the first. I did stay up and I did a click and collect order at midnight. So the item launched on June 1st, which meant come midnight, he became orderable on the website. And so I dutifully placed an order and selected click and collect and got my click and collect report notification mid-morning to come and get it. And so went over to Bondi Junction. There were no Lego Optimus Primes on the shelf in the store. There were a couple of people picking them up, and I asked the staff member.
No, I cut out as well, so maybe it was a
Brad's
StreamYard
gone.
thing.
Brad's,
okay.
Brad's gone too. Yeah, okay.
So I thought it was my internet, but no, all right, maybe it's StreamYard.
Maybe it was StreamYard.
Yeah, something happened.
Anyway. Actually, so Rob just posted on YouTube, said the Facebook link wasn't working and has expired.
Okay.
Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. There's a Facebook comment there. So it says we all stopped. We did. Yes,
We're back.
Facebook's
we're back.
running. Facebook is running again.
Yeah,
I brought it up for a second and it restarted and then it's gotten back to normal. So let's assume we're fine for now.
it's never easy, is it? Yeah, cool.
It's been a while since a decent tech issue stuff to stop.
I know it has.
It's so rare for a tech issue to be so universal. You know, I really feel like we're all in this together.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. We can all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. All right, where were we? I was talking about my Lego pickup experience. So I rocked up to the Lego store at Bondi Junction. There were no Optimus Primes in stock on the shelves. A couple of people picking them up. The guy said their stock allocation sold out at about 12:30 a.m. So I was lucky to get my order in, and he said they're all sold out. And I think I saw I think it was Michael Cove posting updates in the group looking at stores that had availability and stores that were sort of wiping out their availability listings over the course of the morning and the day. I don't think there was anything left standing by about mid-morning. We've heard conflicting things about restocking. We heard it was going to take a couple of weeks from some stores to restock, but then it's been noted that the listing on lego.com is still available, and if you order from them, they will ship it to you. But if you want to, this is the really confusing aspect of this, is that if you go into a Lego store in a shopping center, you're not actually buying from Lego. You're buying from a company called Bricks Megastore. They operate a Lego certified store. It's kind of weird. So the Bricks Megastore website is the one that would show you stock allocations across all their stores because it's their stores. But the Lego.com site is still shipping. I think, Brad, I think you might have some kitchen noise going on in the background there. Not anymore. So we're saying that it's actually been coming back into stock faster than we were told. So if you are looking for one, don't go onto eBay and don't pay stupid prices from people in Facebook Marketplace or anything like that. Just go to lego.com, find it there, they'll ship it to you, or go to the Bricks Megastore. Just go to a Lego store in the shopping center and ask them, and they'll take care of you. So, yeah. Rob says normally Transformers fans have to compete with other Transformers fans, but now Transformers fans have to compete with Lego fans. That's quite true. It's actually, so some of us are really good at competing with other Transformers fans to get things. We've never encountered a beast like the Lego fan before. The main thing here is that the Lego fans know how the Lego stores operate with pre-orders and everything like that. we're like babes in the woods when it comes to that. We're just like, oh, you've got.
I've heard nothing but
Transformers?
horror stories of Lego fans. I feel like they're sort of the boogeymen.
No, I mean, come on, they're
other
not.
toy
They're not
collector.
no,
groups
no,
hear
no.
about
It's not like they're Star Wars fans or anything. It's okay. Oh, and yes, there's an entire segment of the internet has gone dark on our listenership. That was that was a bit unfortunate. We haven't had that happen for a while, have we, Brad? Alienated.
No, it has been some time.
I think it happened around the time of the last.
Brad's
Star
just
Wars
like,
movie.
I'm going to tap in and speak now. Yeah.
Gloves are off.
So there you go. So those are the local releases. Like I said, I do have a Lego Optimus Prime. I've not assembled him yet. There's been a lot of people who have been putting him together and really enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to it. Whether I get to it on the weekend or not, we'll see. I'm not sure.
I might call him a target tomorrow and see if it's in there.
Yeah, fair enough too. It won't be in Target. You'd have to go to the Lego store. So that is a good point to actually that's something else we should talk about in terms of local releases as well. But you have to get to the Lego store. It's a Lego store exclusive for now, but it might be in retail stores later this year. So sort of by maybe October, November, December, you might be able to get it from Target or Big W. The other thing that we should mention, since you did mention Target, that's the fake chain that doesn't exist anymore, is that we have actually been seeing some restocks of the extremely rare and extremely sought after Headmasters, the Retro Headmasters Wave 2. And that's the set of 3 with the repacked hardhead. We are seeing reports that that's been returning to Target stores around the country. I say around the country, I mean there's 5 of them, but yeah.
This is the first I've actually heard that we got Wave 2 in Australia.
Oh no, Wave 2.
So I
Wave 2
should be
did come
looking
out.
for Wave 2 tomorrow.
If you want Wave 2, you should definitely go look for it. So yes, there have definitely been sightings. I've actually picked up a full wave for someone here. So yeah, like you can definitely do it. Keep an eye on your Target. Remember, when Wave 1 got reissued, they were everywhere in those stores, but they did take a while to come in. So they might get dribs and drabs, and they might then get sort of a glut of them, or they might just have the dribs and drabs that they have, because Wave 2 seems to be quite sought after.
I know
So
Wave 1's definitely still there.
Yeah, Wave 1's definitely there. So the store that I went to actually did have a mix of Wave 1 and Wave 2. So, you know, you could... I mean, look, let's be honest. You're just going to go and look in the toy section anyway. So, you know, why not? Alrighty. Overseas releases. Before we get into the big news of the week. I knew this was going to happen. Rob asked what figures are in Wave 2. I was desperately hoping that no one would ask what figures are in Wave 2 because I don't have it to hand, and I didn't actually buy them because they were just Titans Return figures. So what I'm doing is I'm repeating the question, and so that I can buy myself time.
Stalling for time. Stalling for time.
Stalling for time. Stalling for time.
Well, we know Hardhead's one of them.
Yeah, so a hardhead. There's more hardheads than anything else. So there's hardhead, highbrow, skull cruncher, and weird wolf. So if you don't have Wave 1, then you just want highbrow, skull cruncher, and weird wolf. And so with that, I think it's probably about time to talk about the news of the day. Who wants to talk about some masterpiece news?
No, news of the month. Maybe.
News of the month, yes, sure. So yesterday we started hearing some rumblings that there was going to be a masterpiece announcement today, and it was going to be MP57 Skyfire, aka Jetfire, aka the figure that Takara did actually sort of offhandedly confirm about a year and a half ago that they were working on a masterpiece Jetfire, and I'm just going to keep calling him Jetfire. It's going to be a thing that happens. They did confirm that they were working on a masterpiece Jetfire, and then nothing happened for a while, which is kind of normal when it comes to masterpiece figures. Like they seem to have about an 18 month or more gestation period. We saw the same thing with the Raiden Combiner. We saw a lot of saw a lot of mentions of the fact that they were working on it, but then we didn't see anything, and then now we've got two coming out within a couple of months of each other, two components of it. That is actually something else that Takara is probably going to give us an update on soon as well, because we have one figure due in June, and I think the next one's due in September or something thereafter. So, like, they've got a bit of time. There might be another one around December, I think. However, the news of the day is Jetfire. Masterpiece Jetfire is officially revealed. He is the largest ever Masterpiece mold. You can see the photo on the screen share here showing him standing next to MP44 Optimus Prime. Takara not making the same mistake of pairing up their new figure with the old MP10 mold. I think they did that with Trailbreaker, was it, or one of the prototypes? And people are just like, hi, Takara won't even use MP44. Well, now they are. So you can see he's head and shoulders above MP44. Excuse me. Head, shoulders, and forearms above MP44. He's massive. He's very huge. People thought that it might be similar to the Siege version, but apparently it's completely different. There's no shared engineering or tooling on him. The Autobot and Decepticon symbol, they're actually plates that get attached onto him, so you can actually recreate the scene in the cartoon where sort of the plates come on and off. That's really, really cool. I think the transformation is probably fairly similar, because like the same pieces are going to go in the same way, but he definitely has a much cleaner, more sort of cartoon style aesthetic. He's a bit chunky and a bit blocky in his lineage and proportions, but I really quite like the look. Obvious comparison point is going to be Fans Toys Phoenix. It's the acknowledged pinnacle of Masterpiece style Jetfires at the moment, and whether or not it takes Phoenix down for the count is open to question. It's going to be very much a personal choice. There will be people who just will blindly say it's going to be Fans Toys, but I feel like Phoenix has a couple of problems. There's a couple of pieces that are very prone to breakage on him. I know at least one or two people who've got some broken pieces that they can't fix up on him, and I think Takara is probably going to come out a little bit on top, because the figure won't be as heavy as Phoenix. So, really looking forward to seeing more of where this goes. Masterpiece Jetfire does, of course, come with a Gerwalk mode, just to really fuck off Harmony Gold's lawyers. And you can also see here he actually comes with miniature versions of other characters as well.
So that's by far the most exciting part of this.
I know it's
those are
pretty
like
cool, isn't it?
Well, for they're articulated as well. They've got elbows and knees, and really detailed.
You can just see.
There's your Masterpiece Jazz. I don't know what everyone's been complaining about. He's right there. First Masterpiece Jazz figure. So you've got an Optimus Prime, a Wheeljack, and a Jazz. That's shit with him. This is something that we saw X-Transbots do with their Perceptor recently, and this was actually it was one of the reasons why I chose the X-Transbots Perceptor instead of the new Fans Toys one, was all of the extra stuff that came with him, the minifigures and stuff, which I don't think they were I'm pretty sure they were different figures as well. I'd be interested to line up all these minifigures together next to each other and see what they come up with. The minifigures are definitely a popular addition there. There's Jonathan Hawking saying he just wants this just for the Jazz figure. It's going to be the most expensive Jazz you'll ever buy. And yeah, someone else also specifically calling out the minifigures as well. What do we say? The X-Transbots is Brawn, Bumblebee, and Perceptor. So there you go. So there's now six minibots. There's been a lot of love for the minibots on Twitter. I saw 60 called out that maybe they'll stack up with the Titan Arc. Maybe can sort of make a bit of a play set out of them as well. But to stay with Jetfire himself there. So I've got the minifigures there. They can actually hang off him in his proper full vehicle mode. He's got. I think that was a trick that we saw with Siege Jetfire as well. You can attach figures to the 5mm ports, and he does come with a very very beefy, very hefty stand to support him as well. Looks fantastic. Just really happy with him. There's a shot up above showing there's a couple of different faceplates. There is a mask, a couple of guns with blast effects as well, and the base plate with the stand. So very impressive. There's been a big question over the price of this guy for the last 24 hours. He is the largest Masterpiece mold they've made, and people are pretty down on Masterpiece pricing these days. So I think everyone's going to be quite pleasantly surprised by the price of this guy. I don't think you're going to find you'll find that he will go much over about maybe 300 to 350. If you look at something like EB Games, I reckon EB Games will probably price him at about $400, but you will be able to import him a little bit cheaper. We've seen Omo Primus has put up a price listing at I think 320 Australian. You'll need to pay shipping in for that as well. But I have also seen a couple of places in Hong Kong. If you buy a case of two of them, so if you split a case with your mate, they will sell them to you for $270. It becomes a much more affordable thing if you actually buy them in bulk for people as well. So lots and lots of options there. Now, you guys are not really happy about Masterpiece Jetfire. Tell me what's going on, Max. Why are you?
Got no issue with him. I have no issue with him whatsoever. I actually think it looks like quite a good figure. I'm just not really collecting Masterpiece anymore.
Not a Masterpiece fan, fair enough.
I can't begrudge this figure specifically. For me, I just sort of figure Commander class version exists, and I think that's just about as perfect as you could possibly hope for. So there's quite a high bar set by what is a figure that's about a third of the price, but the third of a price. Is it a third of less than half the price? We'll go with that. It's cheaper.
I'm not actually sure what kind of a price we're comparing to. What are we doing?
I mean, they're both all over the place in terms of pricing. So, let's just say Commander class is cheaper and does everything you could possibly want, in my view. So, there's a high bar that's set. But looking at the figure itself, I can't really begrudge it. Only thing that really stands out is the head sculpt looks a bit childish, I guess. And he doesn't seem to have a waist swivel. But that's really nitpicking.
Less engineering could mean less price too.
Maybe that is actually a point of the of how he's actually managed to get so big without actually being so expensive as well.
Well, you think design-wise and engineering, what your new Megatron, new Primal or Prime have to do to get from truck to robot, where this thing's just the age-old plane laying down and move some arms and limbs here and there with some panels.
I guess I kind of skimmed over his jet mode there as well, so can't really see what's going on underneath.
Yeah, rhetorical question for you, Jason. Of course, this is a numbered masterpiece, so you must get it. But Max, you said you have the Commander class, and that's
I'm free. I'm free of the masterpiece number curse.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
Do you currently have a stand-in for Jetfire in your collection? Commander class as well? Or do you have the Fans Toys one?
I do have the Commander class. I sold my Fans Toys Phoenix when the Commander class figure came out because I wanted a Jetfire that I could pick up and take off the shelf and play with without being afraid of breaking him. So there he is, right within arm's reach. So, I didn't fold those wings there. There we go. I was quite happy to get rid of get rid of Phoenix and replace him with the Commander class version. I'm also very happy to. I'm also going to be very happy to put the Masterpiece version on my shelf as well. I say I'm free of the curse, but I'm still going to buy it.
Yeah.
No. I can seriously. I can quit anytime I want. You know.
Well, that's all right, because my point was going to be that if you do have a current stand-in, and this probably goes for a lot of the Masterpiece stuff as well. If you've got a current stand-in that does the job, are you going to be going after the new thing just because it's new? Like the last few years, this being announced a while ago, we did have some nasty flu a little while ago. It may have delayed it coming out as well. I just wonder if I'm looking up at me. No comments in the comments. Me Deca Toys Kronos, which is now probably a 13 or 14-year-old design. It's the same height as what this looks like next to Prime. It does all the things the same as long as you don't transform it and break it.
I was going to say, isn't that one massively prone to breakage?
It's
not if it's sat there for the past 10 years.
Its ankles have been replaced, and it has done a lot of cons as well. So it's been out a bit, but I've never transformed it, so it's staying there. But yeah, it's just the economy things. Whether you can afford to keep on buying the new hotness every time something comes out. You say $200-$300.
I think it's a fair question. I also think that it really sort of puts the price of Fanstoys Phoenix into a bit of perspective as well, because you'll pay $300 to $400 for a Fanstoys Phoenix. And
okay.
He's pretty freaking good value at that point as well. Like if you've bought a Phoenix and you don't want to upgrade from Phoenix to the real Masterpiece, I'm not going to begrudge you that. He's a great figure. He's not perfect, but he does have problems. But he's pretty awesome. He's been pretty awesome for years because that figure has been around for a few years now. But yeah, nothing wrong with it as far as a Masterpiece Jetfire goes. But if you do want to get the official one, then you've now got the option to do it.
Well, it's one of those things. Like you do have people. Yes, I want the official. Why'd you buy Phoenix when you could have bought the official? Whatever. From the limited few, I've got a few of the Fans Toys figures up there, and as you said, they're beefy, they're heavy. You can sort of feel the money that goes into them. There's only been a couple of figures released. Quakewave v Shockwave is probably the biggest. We're just having one in each hand. Quakewave, I think it was 180 when it came out. Then we had the price wars after that. But just the difference between Quakewave and Shockwave.
Quakewave went up to $600 at one point.
Yeah. But just the feel of having the figures in hand, the die casting Quakewave, Shockwave, the chicken legs, which is true to the G1 character.
I much prefer the official Shockwave to Quakewave these days. They nailed the look properly, and Quakewave is just another version of Shockwave. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it if you prefer it as well.
There's just those little design changes, and it'd be just interesting to see this in the hands of reviewers or whatever else, just the comparisons, or even getting the hand yourself between this and Phoenix, and maybe.
Yeah.
Well, no one else has done it, so maybe all the Commander one, maybe just having the three of them lined up, and
There's a mention in the comments there saying, "Wonder how much diecast will be on this Masterpiece." I don't think there'll be any. It'll be zero. Most
Pins.
Masterpieces these days don't seem to have any. At least not the small ones. I don't know. Maybe there will be a bit. Like if you scroll up and look at the feet do look fairly chunky and maybe a little bit shiny there, and that's probably appropriate. Using some die cast in the feet is probably the best place to do that. I'm not completely sold on the fact that there's die cast in it at all, but that would be the logical place for it to go.
Craig's got a good question here. How's this compared to Star Saber? It's bigger. Well, obviously, this is the biggest, so it's bigger than Star Saber. But isn't Star Saber about the same as Magnus? Aren't they both around the same? Obviously, bigger than Prime, but not overly.
I mean, you're gonna make me Google things live on the show.
Haven't you got it, or is it in its box?
14 inches. 14 inches MP24 Star Saber.
Conversion to centimeters, please.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Taller than Magnus here, rightio.
Okay, so 14
Well,
inches,
there's
35.5. So he's 35 centimeters tall. So there you go. Probably about the same.
And there's-
Probably about
there's
the
the
same
whole-
height as that.
Yeah, the whole scale thing too, where okay, so we're not going to have this big enough that the MPs can fit inside him yet. He's going to be on Parison in robot mode. That classic G1 scale is added to the game.
I think that seems fine. I'm gonna risk opening an app in full screen mode there.
While you're doing that, I do appreciate the fact it does come with the little figures. We saw that with the Commander class. No, with Unicron having the little mini figs to go with that as well. So
on the question of scale, I did just want to point out, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this very well. If I bring that there and do that and open this and go here, will this work?
if we go dark, you know why.
If what do you mean? What do you mean if we go dark? Of course we're going to go dark. Okay, so I'm gonna. What am I have to do with the screen share? I need to put this on a blank screen, put that there, and then let's zoom in on the scale chart, right? So we saw Jetfire versus Prime, and we know that Prime's about the same size as Megatron there. So what do we got there? So Prime comes up to Jetfire's elbows, and in the scale chart, Megatron comes up to about his elbows as well. So as far as scale goes, I would say perhaps they've maybe made him a tad shorter than he should be according to the scale chart. But it's pretty close.
Tomato.
Yes, fair enough too. How do I get that back up there? There we go. All right, that's good. That was a nice little experiment, a nice little diversion. And yeah, so as Craig says, he looks right in emotional scale, which is that he feels right compared to the other MPs, which I think is all that matters. If you buy him and you're happy with him, then there you go. That is the photos that we're looking here are the official photos that were released from Dengeki Hobby, which it seems to be where Takara goes to reveal their masterpieces these days. There were also a couple of photos that leaked out yesterday, the day before the official reveal. We saw a couple of things come out. Someone's put him next to a screen door, which was nice of them. But yeah, so again, sort of a nice sort of look at how he scales up next to MP44. They've also taken him apart. Those
Lieutenant Dang, you got no legs.
yeah, nice. And it's been interesting. It looks like they've got two copies of this actually, because this looks like it's got a bit of damage around the right hip there, but that's not visible on the other one, or is it? Maybe it is. Don't know.
You'll find anything dumpster diving these days.
It's true. That might. This one does appear to be missing a left foot as well. Yeah. Perhaps not the greatest representation of how this masterpiece looks on the balance.
Or holds together.
Perhaps not. So we're expecting Masterpiece Jetfire to hit in February next year. I think we're expecting Trailbreaker in, I'm gonna say November. Expecting Jetfire in February, and so it does leave the question of what's going to come in December, which I think I predicted would probably be one of the MPG, the train bots. It's probably going to take that end of year slot. So, without further ado, we've done Masterpiece Jetfire. Let's move on. Does anyone else have anything to say about Jetfire?
No, I look forward to reviews of it, but yeah.
It looks like MP36 feet on him. I agree. It does actually look like the sort of the foot design that we've seen on Megatron. Probably it's probably just that they're sort of a triangular foot design, sort of from the cartoon. But yeah. And Craig says Trailbreaker is due in January. So if that's the case, then January, February, going to be a 1-2 punch for Masterpiece figures. Trailbreaker also, as far as pricing goes, quite good. I feel on the pricing front. Like you can generally find him for probably about nearly $250. And here's a larger car. So fair enough.
So is MP10. Cost me $250.
Yeah, how many years ago was that?
Seems like yesterday.
And that's when I shot him, Your Honor.
Well, that was
All
10. Where we now? What's he? 54?
Yes. Yeah. How many Masterpiece releases ago was it? That's
This is getting out of hand.
It is. It is. Let's talk about some good news. Ta-da! Legacy Motormaster is available if you can find him in the if you can find him there. Motormaster is of course the central torso and skeleton of this year's Menasor figure. The trailer does provide a lot of pieces that are needed to make a Menasor. Hasbro designer Mark Marr has shown a bunch of photos of the combined lot on his Instagram here. I say combined, like it's kind of a cheat. He did say that he was going to share like fully assembled photos of Motormaster, but clearly they're like the left arm is missing because it hasn't been revealed yet, and he said that he did stick 2 Wild Riders onto the back, so he's not revealing figures that haven't been announced yet, but we all know they're coming. So there's a good look there at how Menasor will look. You know, if you just sort of like squint your eye and imagine that there's another car connected to his left arm. Very, very cool. Lots of articulation. I love the fact that he's got big chunky feet now as well. It really helps with combiner stability. And there was also some mention earlier on that you'd be able to use Combiner Wars figures as limbs. The answer to that was you will, but they're not really designed to click in and lock in. So you can see the updated port design on the left, which does actually click in securely apparently, and the Combiner Wars port doesn't really hold securely, but it will go in. So if you're really desperate to do it for some reason, if you really got those Combiner Wars limbs for Menasor around and you just want to use them, you can use them as well for whatever.
I think it's just a matter of if people want the cars facing forwards.
And if you want a 5-member StunnerCon team instead of 3, which is stupid. But there's 5 in the team. The 5 make the combiner, not a torso and 2 cars. But yeah, all right.
No, it's the combine. The torso is Motormaster plus some bits of the trailer.
But the legs were other pieces of trailer too. There's no cars there.
There's a car hiding out
on the back. The cars are on the back because that's animation accurate. You see that thing?
So I mean, I'm still buying the figure. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but some things shouldn't be animation accurate. Like, just let it go. Fair enough.
Yeah. So there are obviously 2 more cars on the back of the legs there. But you and if you don't, I think they said when you plug them in, so there are things that happen when you plug the figures into Menasor. So drag strip splits in 2. We did find when I had the leaked version of drag strip from the factory stolen version a few months ago. We did find that there's a little piece that you can push and he'll separate. We did find out during the live stream when they showed off Menasor that that part is actually built into the arm. So when you press drag strip down on it, he will split naturally, which I think is pretty cool. We did predict that would be the case at the time because otherwise it's very fiddly to split him apart and attach him to pieces. So like in theory, you're not going to lose any parts of that because you need to have him in one piece to attach him, and then he breaks apart, then he rejoins, and then you remove him. So we're looking at a naked left arm there which is only the trailer parts, and there's doors that they showed off on the you can't quite see it on this one actually. So there's, if you see here, Brad, on the legs, there's these doors that close, and they close when you plug a car into it. So by default they're a bit hollow, but when you plug the car in, they close up, and the doors are actually designed to look like the underside of the figure that's meant to be plugged in on the other side. So it adds just a little bit of depth to the combiner element of it as well.
Right, yeah.
So I mean, like I'm going to be happy to take a look at this guy finally in combined mode. We're going to have Drag Strip's out now. Menasor is going to be out really soon. Motormaster is going to be out really soon. Wave 2 of Legacy is going to hit within a couple of months, and Wave 3 will have the final 2 limbs as well. So come about August, September, you will be able to finally assemble your Menasor. Although with Wave 2, you might be able to do the same thing that Mark's done here and just put 2 Wild Riders on the back of to get some stuff there.
It's not like anyone will ever be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. Apparently, you can't put Drag Strip on the left arm because it's specifically designed for. Who's the left arm for Menasor?
Dead End.
Dead end. Yeah.
It's Dead End. Yeah, it's specifically.
I always
designed
get the
for
red
Dead
ones
End.
confused, and I shouldn't. But they're
It's fair.
red and black
So, yeah.
sports cars.
So yeah, there's a lot of goodness to look at in Menasor there, and the fact that Motormaster is out here now, or at least coming really soon, world first release. So the Aussies who've picked him up so far have been making a bit of noise on socials and have been getting themselves noticed by the big global Transformers news websites. So good on them.
I find it interesting. One of the biggest criticisms of Combiner Wars was deluxe limbs and Voyager torsos. Here we've got a Commander class torso with deluxe limbs, and it's still suffering from ape arm.
I think
Maybe it's just because we're used to G1 where there's no elbows and the hands at the hips.
I think if you think back to Rodimus from last year, the main figure was still Voyager sized, and so.
Yeah.
Your main torso here is still a Voyager, but he's not the complete torso. There's a little bit of the trailer that he's plugged into. So, like your main torso is bigger, but also because the car's split up, you do get sort of the ape arms thing that you mentioned there as well, and that's mainly just sort of a reference to the fact that the hands are sort of below sort of hip height, which like. I don't think that's so bad, and I think on a combiner where like the combined form is meant to be a hulking brute, I think so the ape arms thing is kind of all right, you know.
Well, I suppose too. Again, going back to G1 animation, where they were more human proportioned for the most part.
Yeah. The interesting question about this is can they pull off this trick of engineering with other combiners? Like, does this work for any other combiners that you can think of? This idea of sort of having a trailer that actually forms the skeleton of the figure.
Well, there's a cheat with Devastator.
Like, it's also a matter of how many other combiners really need an update so far. Like, beyond the hands
anything
and feet,
that
a
they
lot
did
of the
in
others.
Combiner Wars clearly needs an update.
Yes.
But I remember Menasor being significantly regarded as a low point of Combiner Wars. Like,
I'm pretty sure it's. I
actually think it's really funny that like we're happy to dump on Combiner Wars Menasor, but at the same time, there's still a very, very vocal part of the fan base, which is just I want to use my Combiner Wars limbs. If it's that bad,
Well,
why would you want to use the limbs?
No,
I think it's mostly just so I can have the cars facing forward.
Yeah. I'd say Motormaster is a down point. Menasor, Dragstrip, all the limbs that come with him, I thought were fine, but the Motormaster redo of Prime with the bad hips, all that sort of stuff. The way I see it, that was a down point.
The
anyway,
deluxes were fine, but
yeah.
Fair
But it also was lucky it's coming out.
Maybe retroactively, maybe not such a low point.
Well, it was lucky it coming out second and not ninth. Otherwise, it would be the low point.
Yeah, fair enough. I feel like like I said, I feel like there's a lot of people dumping on Combiner Wars Menasor, but at the same time, there's also people going, "Oh, but we want it to be like Combiner Wars Menasor." So, yeah.
But as you said with Commander class, like Superion's going to be hard unless you make Silverbolt a very big jet, because you can't have all the pieces.
What's wrong with a Concorde with a trailer?
No, just have one of those flags that tows behind the box.
Yeah, it's a 3D flag.
There's actually, you remember there was Power Glide as part of the aerial bots in that, so you just have Commander class Power Glide. It's just a giant bloody thing, and then a little Silverbolt packed in with him to form the head.
Yeah, Devastators are cheap because it's 6 bots, not 5. So you've got Hook and Long Haul as your torso. It can build up the mass there. Protect the bots. So you got the fire truck. So again, you might be able to have that truck with the ladder on it for hotspot.
Yeah. So Rob has also pointed out you could do Combaticons if Onslaught comes with a trailer, which I mean he usually is his own trailer, but you could certainly beef that up.
Yeah. So was Motormaster. So
yeah, and
I think people are generally pretty receptive to no one's particularly fussed if Motormaster happens to be just a cab. Like the overwhelming response to this Motormaster has been, "Oh, it looks fine." Everyone.
So
everyone's really excited.
Do you remember the uproar when New Age or Magic Square made a legend scale Motormaster that was literally this? It was a skeleton that you stuck cars. So, that's lazy engineering. They haven't made a combiner. You have to. It's five bots plus a trailer, and you could. There were photos around. Same thing. I think they did the same thing with Devastator. Like you could buy the 6 bots, but there was also an extra piece that had to actually form the skeleton of the bot that all the 6 bots plugged into. And
yeah, so I feel like there's
people showing photos of it on its own and stuff.
Yeah, there's a rational argument to be made there for a lot of figures. Like doing that for Devastator. I mean, we've already had the Combiner Wars 1 come out and show. Yeah, you can quite easily do a strong a well put together, competent figure that doesn't require all this extra nonsense. Whereas Menasor, it's kind of like that extra nonsense is Menasor. The third party figures that came out since are ones.
I do take the point. Yeah.
Like Menasor's always been a bit of an outlier in that it is just a trailer with cars slapped on the side.
Yeah, I take the point. That's sort of the reason I asked the question. Like, what other combiners can they really do in this style, or is this going to be a one-off? I think it will be interesting to see where this ends up going next year, because the expectation is probably going to be that they do another combiner next year.
Oh, they're going to do them all, but just for those playing at home on the bingo cards, let's not bring up Lone Wolf again either.
I was trying not to. I was definitely trying not to.
Let's just forget about all other Motormasters.
In fact, Brad,
he doesn't have a best track record,
because you mentioned Lone Wolf. We're going to move on to the next story. Yeah, basically. I need to actually get that as a video way that we can put in to move on. We talked about the Legacy Wreck and Rule collection last time. We went through all of the we went through all of the figures in there. There's what have we got? We got Impactor, Leadfoot, Springer, Bulkhead, and we knew that there was going to be a Twin Twist coming. And sure enough, on the final day, which was announced the day after we recorded the episode, yes, indeed, there was Twin Twist, and Brad's disappeared for a minute, but I think he'll be back. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Brad will be back. So we do have the official. We do have the official photos of Twin Twist here now. As mentioned at the time, during the week as these reveals were happening, there was a mention from prolific leaker, or not leaker, I guess, but pre-release announcer JT Prime 17 on the TFW boards, saying that he had seen Topspin mentioned, but apparently Topspin did not make it through to production as well. So it is just Twin Twist and no Topspin. Twin Twist is in his Diaclone color scheme, in keeping with the fact that the Wreck and Rule collection seems to sort of keep to characters' original appearance, or just sort of a bit of a, sort of not the way that we've seen them in the last few years. There's Springer has his sort of G1 toy colors. Impactor has his his original comic look. Leadfoot has his G2 appearance, and Bulkhead has a sort of a camo deco that doesn't quite match anything that we've seen from Bulkhead, but again, still not his regular getup. So together, these guys all form the Wreckers crew for 2022, the Wreckers Wreck and Rule set, and they do come with a cardboard hammer, and that thing has generated way more discussion and angst than it really should have. So a piece of the hammer comes in every one of the packages. You can fold it up and put it together, and eventually you get a nice little hammer that you can display with the figures. So, Max, what do you make of Twin Twist?
It's kind of bizarre figure. I mean, I assume Top Spin will come at some point, but for the moment, it is just Diaclone Twin Twist by himself. It's it's just a weird release. I can't say it looks bad. I mean, it's an excellent mold.
Yeah, he's quite a well-regarded mold.
And it's a good paint job. It's just a weird release.
Yeah, I never really got into the Top Spin and Twin Twist releases in Titan's Return, and like seeing this and seeing like all the detail and the tank treads and everything. Like I kind of regret not really checking them out a little bit more. But yeah, no, I'm gonna be very happy to add this guy into my collection anyway. I like the color scheme. I think it's quite bold.
Yeah, I remember them being.
Brad's returned from not being here, and just contributed a. But
I'm agreeing.
I'm going to make it sound like I've been here the whole time.
Well,
I also remember
the one that put the run sheet together. I haven't seen the photos already, so
yes, it's true.
It's a nice color on it.
So, are you guys getting any of the Wreck and Rule set?
I've pre-ordered Bulkhead, but that's it for me, I reckon.
You're getting Bulkhead. Interesting. Yeah, okay. Are you going to get the Legacy Bulkhead as well, or will this be your Bulkhead?
It's just for me. It's just Legacy Bulkhead, but it looks nicer. I was going to get Legacy Bulkhead, but before I saw it on shelves, that one went up for order, so that's perfect.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I've been considering this over the course of the week, and I've realised that I've sort of deviated off my rule with Chug figures, which is that I would generally go for the rarer variants, like the Gen Select versions, and yeah, I haven't. I've been buying a lot of mainline Chug figures, and that's why I'm kind of not that interested in the general releases now. But like I'll get Menasor, but maybe not too much of the rest of the line. I don't know. I say this and then I'll probably just end up getting all of them. But
yeah, I'm sort of the same. I've wound up with a few. I stuck to that for a couple years recently, but I've wound up with a few mainline releases just because everyone said they were quite good, and shockingly, they were quite good.
Yes,
and then Menasaur's the kind of thing where there'll probably be a G2 repaint or something down the track, but that's it's not guaranteed. And Menasor also looks really good, so yeah, I'm quite comfortable going for that.
I'm less certain of a repaint or a G2 version of the Stunticons this time around. Like, I think the fact that there's a very expensive Commander class sitting at the center of it, I think might make it less likely. But I don't know.
Having said that, we did get a Gen Select Black Zarak. Like that, nothing's.
We
That's
did.
a big toy.
We did. I think if they do it, I think it'll be next year. But yeah, we'll see.
There must be a series of Gen Select releases.
Yeah, that would be annoying, but it would also. I have thoughts. So it would be annoying, but because it would basically be a rerun of this year's retail releases. It's like, well, if you want the G2 version of Menasor, you're gonna have to buy the Gen Selects next year, and they'll release them every couple of months, like they have been this year.
Oh, it's gonna be annoying for sure, and I'm gonna fall for it if it happens.
Yeah, but
it is going to be
I
annoying.
feel like they would. I feel like they want to do different things to that with the Gen Select line. Like maybe if they do a G2 version of him, maybe he'll just be like a retailer exclusive or something instead, or just one set. They did do the giant Studio Series Devastator gift set, so you know there's
that's a
definite
good point.
precedent for doing that. I don't know. But at the same time, like looking at the Gen Select pattern for the year, like you can see them sort of doing Diaclone stuff in Gen Selects with like the DK2 and there's a DK3 coming up and Lift Ticket and everything. Like you can see them doing that with you can see them going that way with sort of their theme for the year for the line. So like you could definitely see a G2 Menasor being a theme for the year for Gen Selects. Yeah. We'll see. Anyway. So I do have the Wreck and Rule collection on order because they're the variants, right? They're the different color versions of these guys, and so if I want to have these figures on a shelf, it's going to be these versions of them. So yeah, a couple of other figures have leaked out over the last couple of weeks. We are looking at Ransack. Ransack is a black and yellow and fluorescent orange repaint of Legacy Kickback. Legacy Kickback himself, one of my very favourite figures of the first wave of Deluxes. And also I do have a thing for Deluxe Insecticons as well. The Deluxe Insecticons was the set of 4 Insecticons that were purchased from, I think it was, I'm going to say Bandai, but people will tell me if I'm wrong, I'm sure. And they've never really, like the G1 versions of these figures never got re-released or reissued because they don't have the rights to do that anymore. And so they just sort of keep the names of the figures around, and they will do a new figure with them from time to time. I think we saw Chop Shop. I think it was in Power of the Primes as a repaint of the little Legend Skull. I was going to say Bombshell, but I think it might be actually more of a shrapnel or something. But yeah, so
look it up.
What?
Bumbling to myself, and I was just looking it up.
Fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, I think Chop Shop might have been the last use of a Deluxe Insecticon name that we saw. Hopefully, we might see more of them. They might complete the set this time around. It does sort of beg the question. There's 4 Deluxe Insecticons and there's 3 regular Insecticons. Which one of them is going to be an extra repaint? We'll find out. We'll see. Yeah, Rob says Chop Shop was a repaint. It was a repaint of Shrapnel. I think I said that's not the one that I thought it was, but anyway, he was Shrapnel, so there we go. Legacy Ransack. That's not the figure. That's not the question. There we go. There's a photo next to his kickback self there as well. He looks like his antennas are a little bit different. I mean, the head sculpt is quite different. But everything else is just sort of a bit of a repaint there. Some of the purple parts have become yellow. Some of the black parts have become yellow as well. I think he looks like he's got a lot less detail in the paintwork on his legs. But that's also kind of appropriate for Ransack. You also get the sort of the bright orange on the wings for his grasshopper. So this guy is meant to be. Well, he's rumoured to be part of a 4-figure set, which seems to be the 2022 version of the buzzworthy Bumblebee Worlds Collide set. 4-figure set. We're hearing Scorponok, Parasite, Ransack, and Goldbug. So like we've seen a Shattered Glass Goldbug. So that's a sort of a War for Cybertron Bumblebee mold with a Goldbug themed head, but we haven't seen that head used on anything else yet. There hasn't been a Prime universe or a normal Goldbug yet. So we'll be expecting to see him in that set. Brad's pressed his button, which I think means that he wants to say something.
No, I'm just coming back.
Oh, fair enough.
It's annoying, that button. I don't know why it's so vocal, but anyway.
It is quite loud. It's like, oh, Brad wants to talk. There we go.
That's the pay attention button.
It is. It did make me sit up and pay attention. Do you have any thoughts on Legacy Ransack?
This is going to be a broken record, but I've got the.
You got the G1s?
No, the Legends figures that came out a while ago, and that's they're perfectly fine for me. I don't need to keep buying more and more as I do more and more of them. They look nice. Good paint on them and that, good colour, but it's just not something I need to keep on doing every time they want to do it. It's
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what they make of the other characters in the line as well, because they don't directly map onto the G1 Insecticons as well. But in this case, I think they've managed to find a good reuse for Kickback. But I don't know what they'll do for the others. We'll see. I did briefly flash up there by mistake. There was an extra slide there showing a Legacy clamp down as well. This is an extra use of the Earth Mode Sideswipe mold, which I think debuted with Kingdom Red Alert last year. So Red Alert, Sideswipe, and Clamp Down, sort of all forming the Lambos in there. Look, it's nice to have the police car variant of this mold. It's also a really good mold. I really like the War for Cybertron War for Cybertron, both the Cybertronian and the Earth Mode Lamborghinis. Really, really nice little easy to pick up and play with deluxe scale figures. I'm really not sure what's going on with the bonnet on Clamp Down there. Like, it looks really dirty and scuffed. It might just be because this is obviously a sort of a stolen factory version. But yeah. So yeah, like really looking forward to getting my hands on him. This guy is rumored to be part of the Velocitron line, and the Velocitron line is sort of this year's version of the Netflix subline, which in the States was a Walmart exclusive. And here went to Kmart, and we are hearing that line will go to Kmart again this year. So we can expect to see at least Clampdown and a couple of the other figures that we'll bring up shortly. We did talk about, I think we talked about Override recently as well. I get confused between when we talk about things on podcast nights versus when we talk about things on the weekly chat nights in TCCA. So. Apologies if we didn't talk about Override, but we can talk about Override now. Here she is. What we've been hearing this week as figures have sort of leaked out in their packaging for the Velocitron Speedia 500 collection is that the Velocitron versions of these figures, we are expecting figures like Blur to end up here. There's expected to be a black convoy as well. They will be packaged in vehicle mode. It's been a long time since we've had Transformers packaged in vehicle mode. You can see Override there is in vehicle mode. You can also see Road Hauler, the green version of the Inferno and Grapple and Art Fire mold that we've been waiting for, and that's actually about it. I thought I had the other one there, but these guys have been packaged in vehicle mode, and apparently, where they are retooled molds, their tooling has been updated so that they actually have proper wheels instead of proper wheels on pins instead of on mushroom pegs. Hence the speedy aspect of it, because they're made to roll and made to roll faster. The main reason I brought these up is just because the boxes look awesome. Like, just really love the box design. It has been pointed out that the logo that you see to the top right of the front of the box and below the Legacy logo on the top of the box there is actually the Speedia logo from it's the Velocitron logo from I think it was Galaxy Force when they went to visit all the planets and they had the Cyber Planet keys. So there's sort of honoring a bit of that legacy, the old the Transformers franchise as well. It does also bear the question of, are we going to get collections of figures from other planets that we visited in these kinds of shows over the next few years as well. I love the G1 the G1-esque box. design with the big flap at the back. The hang tag built into the flap, that is a little bit different. Remember also, this is a Voyager figure in here as well. So it's a Voyager figure in vehicle mode, and it's got a hang tag on the back. I just want to see whether or not they've actually made it balance or not, if it will actually hang straight or if it will hang off to an angle like everything else that we seem to see on store shelves these days. Max, I think you said you thought the speedier packaging looked quite nice.
Yeah, it's sort of, I don't know, it's that sort of like delightfully tackiness to it. It's just very much leaning into the aesthetic, and it works really beautifully.
Yeah, I think so. Brad, what do you
I'm a big fan of having things packaged in vehicle mode too. What I said is just, I understand that they sell better in robot mode, but for me, when you open a figure, and obviously transformation is a big part of buying a Transformers figure, taking it from vehicle to robot as the first experience of a figure is just, it just adds that little something.
I think it's you're quite right. It does actually add sort of a, if you want to display it in robot mode, as we know a lot of people do, it does sort of add it forces you to experience the transformation gimmick. The more cynical part of me will just say that they're more compact. It will make these figures fit into a standard size box a lot better. They'll fit in a lot nicer, and they also, I think they'll also display quite nicely. We are still dealing with boxes without windows in them, which is interesting given that it is a Walmart series, and Walmart did famously have windows on their Legacy Beasts earlier this year. So maybe Hasbro's talked them out of it. One thing that we've seen as a big complaint from the community with the plastic windowless packaging is theft of some of the heads off the figures. Well, they're in vehicle mode now, so you won't be able to steal the heads.
No, now we just get the thought of all these greasy fingers running over them in the store.
Yeah, but if you buy a Transformer and at least 5 people haven't licked it already, like, isn't that?
Have you really bought a Transformer?
Yeah, have you really bought a Transformer, or have you just bought a transforming robot?
Yeah,
I wonder if it's.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I wonder if it was. I'm thinking back, Revenge of the Fallen, the last time we had bots. I'm pretty sure Dark of the Moon, all the figures come in alt mode.
I believe there were some in Throttling 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that was when they ended it.
Yeah, because Orion Paxnet come in alt mode.
The latest I can remember is...
It was.
I think it was
right.
Thrilling 30.
There were a bunch of
latest.
deluxes. A bunch of deluxes in Thrilling 30 definitely came in alt mode. But I think since then, I think Power of the Prime, like Combiner Wars and stuff, they all came in robot mode because they were all thinner in robot mode. They're easier to pack in.
Yeah. They are definitely making it harder for collectors to make that decision whether to keep packaging or not. A lot of the stuff.
It makes it much
shelves.
easier for me. The issue is it's really beautiful packaging. Like, it's some of the nicest they've done. If it was just a pure sealed box the whole way around, I'd probably keep it because it's very nice looking. But having that big gap there, I understand it probably helps it sell better. But having that big gap there takes a very nice, classy looking box and just makes it feel a bit cheap.
So you're a bit of a fan of the closed boxes that have come in for the leader class figures now.
Absolutely. I'm a bit of a sucker like that, but it just feels a bit classier. Granted, they're not exactly, masterpiece or, grand big third party figures. The mainline retail releases are not that expensive, but it does just on a, purely contrived level, it does make it feel like a more premium piece.
I do think that especially with Legacy, the artwork for the figures has just been astonishing. The box art's been beautiful. I've been checking out the boxes for Laser Prime, even Galvatron being a Kingdom repack, and Blitzwing. The artwork on the boxes is just gorgeous in all cases.
Yeah, and like they have those splash panels on the side.
Yeah.
Like I noticed on Deluxes, there's a splash panel on the side of all the Autobots across each size class. So you have the 3 different size classes, and they're all represented across that. And then there's a different artwork on the Decepticons packages.
Yeah.
And it was like, this stuff is it just looks really enticing. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is pretty nice. All right, that is it for news. We are at a little over an hour. We do have a little bit of time to run through some acquisitions. If anyone has acquisitions that they would like to go through, I'm going to start with Brad because I don't know if Brad has anything. But
I can be quick.
Brad's going to pull down his $19 Primal again.
And I don't know how to get this off. Oh, there it is. I've got the original. I think maybe apart from Dinobot, pretty much all my Beast Wars figures are all secondhand, and all of them have had the mutant faces taken off. So this is the first one I've actually owned that's got the mutant head. Oh no, Rhinox. Rhinox had his split in half mutant face, which all they exist for reasons we don't need to go into here. But getting a brand new Primal, I wish we got some of the figures that had issues in Beast Wars and got a second go at them. We'll see what happens down the line, but that's basically it for Transformers.
So Brad, I want to ask you, like, as someone who is very fond of Beast Wars, and obviously you've already got an original Primal as well. Do you see the differences between the original Primal and this reissue?
That's one thing I haven't done. I have not got them out and done a close comparison. But even just the I'm not going to be able to do it now. Oh, there we go. The flip out arm cannons, all that stuff, from the best of my knowledge, is all exactly the same. But
I think the mold is the same, but I think there's a bit of detail on it. Like some of the paint on the reissue, I think, seems a little bit lazier than the original.
No, this looks pretty crisp, but yeah, rightio.
Yeah.
Again, it warrant.
You put them side by side. Yeah.
Yeah, it warrant further investigation into it, but
I may have ruined your reissue for you there. I'm sorry.
Well, I brought it for my son so he'd stop playing with mine.
Fair enough.
Wanting to play it mine, which is why I want more reissues. So, the only other thing is I've in Kmart last weekend. I've been in toy stores taking Transformers to the registers, some dolls, Barbie stuff for my daughter, Vanellope Von Sweets from Wreck-It Ralph, stuff like that. And never really felt embarrassed about taking things to the counter before until last weekend at Kmart. I took the, I think it's a $10 selfie. Come on, Brad.
It's a safe space.
It's $10 selfie light with phone holder.
Hang on.
I felt really dirty.
I'm just going to pick up my phone here. I'm just going to point out, like, I've got selfie lights running in my study here. Like, don't be embarrassed. Like, it's always a good thing to add light. Like I'm a fan of your lighting there tonight as well. So like I think it's fine.
Well, multi colors, multi brightness.
Says the man who's sitting in the dark.
Sitting in the dark. So I'm a youngest person here, so I have to like make a token effort away from things like selfie lights.
Yeah. So Brad, did you actually end up purchasing your selfie light?
Yeah, which is what's powering the room now. It I felt incredibly embarrassed going to the register and stay.
Did you did you feel judged as you put it through the register, or did you go through the self-serve checkout, which so it allows you to bypass judgment?
No, it was self-serve, but of course Kmart have the crew on the door that check every purchase you make, and I could just see the questioning eyes of, oh wow, what toy is he going home to review, or some garbage like that. So,
yeah. Oh, look, this guy's bought a selfie light. He must be reviewing toys. Rob points out he just bought a large selfie light for his Lightbox photos, which I will also just point out. Rob's been posting a phenomenal set of photos in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia group on Facebook this week and many other weeks as well. But Rob, it's been an absolute joy to watch Rob's photography evolve over the last couple of years. So it's been lovely. Max, did you want to go for acquisitions? Do you have an acquisition?
I've got too many acquisitions, so I'll try to keep it brief. Because we haven't done a show in a couple of weeks, and then the last time we did, we went too long, so just get past them. And then it was another couple of weeks for the last one, so keeping it
Lightning
brief.
round.
Legacy Drag Strip, excellent. I have basically no complaints. He is a step up from the previous Drag Strip.
He's lovely, isn't he?
There's nothing. He's excellent. He's there isn't a huge amount to say for him. It's just that, it's G1 Drag Strip with more joints. It's great. There's nothing else really to say. It's just good. I also picked up off the Facebook buy sell trade group for TCCA 3/4 of the Buzzword Bumblebee 4-pack. I forgot who it was, but they were selling the 3-figure or for 2 figures that I was actually interested in, as well as the Bumblebee. It's a Bumblebee. I mean, the Earthrise Cliff Jumper mold is great. I love it to death. Awesome little compact figure. This just happens to be the least interesting version of it they could possibly do. It's just a little sports car Bumblebee, but still a great figure. Fangry is G1 Fangry. He is awful. It is not a good toy in the slightest, but it looks really excellent. So,
it's a shame that he's got such wobbly legs, isn't it?
Wobbly legs, like no accessories at all. Transformation.
Wobbly
yes,
legs, wobbly personality,
G1,
right?
A G1 beast, but he's still, could have done a whole lot more. The saving grace is that he looks fantastic. Like, he's visually just gorgeous. So as disappointing and half-assed as a figure he is, I kind of feel compelled to keep him because he looks so good. He's that bright, purple Wolfman thing. It's really, like, that robot mode looks fantastic. It's dead on. It's just a shame that it's completely non-functional.
That's fair.
And the main reason I was after that 4-pack was Nemesis Primal. I've never been a collector of Beast Wars figures, but the color scheme on this was too good to pass up.
I totally agree. Like, I also,
it's so good.
Very famously on the record as saying that I don't really care much for the Beasts, but when that Nemesis Primal came out, I was like, yeah, hello, I'll have that.
I'll try getting up close to the camera, but
One of us.
I'll be buying Cheetos soon enough, and your weird fleshy Megatrons, and
it's a weird fleshy Dinobot. Remember,
there were weird fur and torn sinews. Look, no, he's gorgeous, and as a figure itself, my God, this thing is built like a brick shithouse. It's so rock solid. Phenomenal. Absolutely. Like, if you sell, I mean, the other Bumblebee's fine, Fangry's disappointing, but still looks good. But if you can track down a 4-pack, like, this thing is fantastic. It just visually pops. The only issue is with the mold itself. I don't know what the hell they were doing with his chest flap. It's a complete half-assed effort, in my view.
I don't really know what's going on with that either.
I assumed it was accurate, then I went back and looked, and no, it's never been this weird flat panel flapping there.
Yeah.
So God knows where that came from, but otherwise, yeah, he's fantastic.
Nice.
Recently, JB Hi-Fi got in a whole bunch of of the sort of exclusive repaints and such, and I bit the bullet and got myself Commander Class Shattered Glass Jetfire.
That's
Hello
big boy.
there.
Yeah,
He's
very nice.
divine.
That's two of us showing off a Jetfire on the show tonight.
Yeah, I hadn't got the original, but then this guy, he sort of serves well as a stand-in because Shatterglass Jetfire in the current run of comics he is basically just regular Jetfire. His character didn't actually change very much. And I've never personally been the biggest fan of Shattered Glass outside of some cool decos. The story's never been hugely interesting to me. Jetfire,
I kind of tend to agree. It's more about the cool colors for me.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gimmick. But I don't know if you've read the current run of comics, Jason, for Shattered Glass. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. It's worth reading for Jetfire and Starscream's story. Like that was that completely sold me on the current approach to Shattered Glass. Like it is really, really well done, and this figure is just gorgeous. It's a massive Jetfire, is incredibly solidly well built, full of accessories. Like functionally, just everything works, everything locks together so solidly, poses, as much as you need it to, full of detail. I mean, it's the full package. It's fantastic. Yeah. And he just, that sort of flamboyantly evil, black and purple with lime green highlights color scheme. It's just gorgeous. And then last but not least, and I promise I'm done now, is Gen Select's Galvatron. Oh my God, this thing's good.
I know, he's just so good, isn't he? Like, it's a really good Galvatron mold. So, like, if the Gen Selects version and the Behold Galvatron, the transparent one, doesn't appeal to you, by all means, go out and buy the Legacy version because it's much better than the Kingdom version. There's no paint damage on him, no battle damage paint on him. But you'll be able to pick up the Legacy version for like $70 this week. And he'll be $70 on sale at Big W too.
This, like, for me, I think the significance of this is that it's the first time they've done a Galvatron that is just G1 Galvatron. There's no extra anything. It's just, here's an updated G1 Galvatron, and it works perfectly.
I've got a companion piece for him here for my acquisitions as well. But we'll
Headmaster?
Finish up. Huh?
Headmaster. No, he's for me, I had to get him in these colors just because for me, G1 Galvatron is comic Galvatron, and I think totally it was well worth it.
Yeah.
There's the comic colors just pop so much more. There's like the contrast of purple with the purples and grays and bright
have you
red
put the
shoulder pauldrons. No, because that's like, I guess he's also toy Galvatron.
I'm not going to. Yeah,
but for me,
the stickers make him toy Galvatron, but without it, he's comic Galvatron.
Yeah, like Galvatron 2 is what I'm here for, and he's just as a mold, like the actual figure itself is fantastic. Like it is dense and weighty. It's like it's the same size as Voyager Cyclonus, but it feels twice that size. It's just packed with moving parts. Nice, thick, solid plastic, and the paint job is just to die for. This is an all timer. This thing is incredible.
Yeah. He's
Jason, bring us home.
Right, I've got two acquisitions. One's going to take slightly longer than the others, and bears a bit more explanation. However, the companion piece for your toy Galvatron is a toy Cyclonus.
Ooh.
There he
is. Hello,
So
gorgeous.
he's the Generation Selects version of Cyclonus. He also comes with a sticker sheet that I'm not very interested in applying, but he does have the darker purple and the grey wings, the color scheme of the original Cyclonus toy, and even comes with little shades of blue on the horns on his head as well. So very, very happy with him. Not so happy with the fact that the left arm is pretty floppy. Gonna have to find someone who can fix that up for me. Which does bring me to the other thing. I say that brings me to like the idea of finding someone who can sort of customize figure and stuff. I'm actually going to put myself up full screen for this one because this one is actually pretty important. Actually, no, I'm going to do that layout so we still have everyone on there, but my picture's just a bit bigger in there as well. A few people know that we have a number of customizers who hang out in TCCA, and grace us with their presence and their creations. And a few months ago, Michael from M's Toy Customs contacted me and asked me if I could find an Earthrise Thrust. Now, we would know because we've been talking about the fact that I've been importing figures for people for years. Earthrise Thrust was one of the first figures that I imported into the country en masse for people. And so I'm going to bring this artwork up in full screen if I can figure it out. There we go. And I'm going to put that up there. And the reason that Michael was looking for an Earthrise Thrust was because he wanted to create a sorry, let me just there. He wanted to create a custom of Thrust into Windblade, as seen in the photo here. So, what's going on here is Guido Guidi, who's a noted Transformers artist, has created a sort of retroactively put Windblade into a G1 design by giving her a Seeker body type. Now, it's not just a Seeker body type though. Like, it's softened up some of the lines and everything there as well. So, what Michael wanted to do was to recreate that design using the Earthrise Thrust Seeker mold, and he definitely succeeded in that. I'm gonna just put that up there, and I'm just gonna hold Windblade up for the camera there. Windblade is heavily customized from Earthrise Thrust. There's a new head on her as well, which Michael's assembled from multiple parts. He's painted the entire body red, and he's also created this massive sword for her, which is based on the Thrilling 30 sword, but blown up a little bit bigger, and just she's absolutely gorgeous, and she's going to be a centerpiece of my Seeker shelf, because as you all know, I do like me some Seekers. So yeah, it's been wonderful seeing her come together. Michael's been gracing us on the Wednesday night chats in the TCCA chat room with work in progress looks at her, but nothing quite compares to actually seeing the finished product up close and come together. So yeah, very, very happy. There was no show last week because I was in Melbourne, and while I was in Melbourne, I did meet up with Michael and picked up Windblade, and she's just gorgeous and incredible. So yeah, very, very happy. She does transform. I'm not gonna do it right now. I haven't actually transformed her yet, but yeah. She does transform. She does have a functioning alt mode, and yeah. So that is my second acquisition for the week.
Here's one we prepared earlier.
Yes. No, we've got a second one that Michael's actually customized for us in alt mode. But yeah, no. So yeah, that's my second acquisition
incredible
for the week. I'm very, very happy with her. So yeah, and big thank you to Michael. You can look him up on Facebook and Twitter. M's Toy Customers. He also was responsible for the Netflix Gold Bug that we had last year as a fundraiser for the Good Friday appeal. Michael took such great care with that, making a new head, making sure that every part of Bumblebee was repainted into his gold form. And while we are getting an official Gold Bug this year, I don't think it's going to stack up to that.
We're getting a Gold Bug this year. I missed that.
Yeah. No, I was just saying there's going to be a Gold Bug in the new 4-pack, which you got the 3 members of last year's 4-pack. So he'll be packed in with Ransack.
I missed that 4-pack entirely.
Fair enough. So yeah, those are my acquisitions. That's that. I think we're pretty much done for the show. We're at about an hour and a half. So I think that's about a good time to call it quits. Does anyone have anything to add before we take it home?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
Pretty happy.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. If you've been watching along and commenting, thank you very much. We love the comments. Thanks for checking us out. You will find out more about these stories and the links to them in the show notes. If you are listening to the podcast and your podcatcher of choice, you'll be able to look at the notes and find links to everything. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find us at transformersweekly.podbean.com, and all of us are in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia group on Facebook. We are a production of TCCA, a registered club in Victoria run by volunteers donating time, effort, energy, money, and Friday nights like this to make collecting in Australia better for everyone. We want to build the Australian Transformers collecting community by engaging fans around the country. We make content like this podcast. We attend live in-person events. Ooh, that's a good point. Oz Comic Con Melbourne is on next weekend, and we just... Brad's just knocked his microphone. It was the look was priceless. Oops. Yeah.
Yeah. my bad.
Country Victorian enraged by the mention of Melbourne.
Yeah, things are going on in Melbourne again. Shit. Oz Comic Con Melbourne is on next weekend, and Simon will be there representing TCCA with a lovely display. Simon always puts on an amazing display of lots of glass cabinets and all sorts of things to show off. So do stop by, have a bit of a chat about the club. I'm probably not going to be there. I was in Melbourne just a couple of weeks ago, first visit in a year. I think returning in 2 weeks is probably a bit much of an ask, but we will see. We'll see. I reserve the right to run off to Melbourne on Friday night. But at this point, I probably won't be there. But do go along and chat to Simon and the boys. Back to the outro for the podcast. TCCA runs Australia's largest Transformers discussion and sales communities, and I desperately need a drink, and I know that Max has one, so I kind of want one.
Just
There you go.
pour on the computer. It's
There we go.
yours.
Yeah. Can you just pour it into the microphone? I'll
Yeah.
I'll get it here. Yeah. Cool.
There
Thank
we
you.
go.
There we go. You can find out.
Stay hydrated, Jason.
Is that the fourth dimension? The transference of liquid over podcast? Fair enough. Yeah. In fact, everyone, please stay back from your speakers in case Max's water comes out of his speaker. You can find out more information about TCCA and the benefits of membership and what we do and how to show your support for what we do at transformerscca.com. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Thank you for following. Thank you for commenting. Please do like, comment, and subscribe if you are watching us on YouTube. And we will be back with more Transformers news in the fullness of time, which might be next week and it might be the week after, but we will see how we go.
Until then.
I'm going to press the button. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
See you
Catch
guys.
you guys later.